Alright, so we're going to try to start tuning on this thing a little bit. First I got to get it warmed up because you don't usually ever want to tune on a motor when it's still warming up, mainly because a lot of the compensation tables for fueling and all that kind of stuff are going to be richening up the mixture before it gets warmed up. So when you want to just get your base tune done, you always want to make sure the car is warmed up. So let's fire this thing up. My foot on the gas right now because it doesn't like to idle when it's cold because there's no idle air control motor on the car. Now that I ran it for like, I don't know, 15 seconds with my foot on the gas, now it'll stay running on its own. The air-fuel ratio is not hooked up right now, so it is not a 17-0. It's actually like a 15 to 16 right now. So it actually is a little lean. A little bit lean on startup, so we can try to go through here and go under startup and idle, warm up enrichment, and I'm thinking we should just be able to add like 10% here, and it should clear up to like a 14.7 or so. So I pretty much just changed these numbers from 110, or they were at 100, now they're at 110 for adding 10% here. We'll burn that. Try it again. How it was at a 15 to 16 and now it's 1350, which is good for cold start. Once it warms up, you can have anywhere from a 13 to a 15 for idle. Running pretty smooth actually. Now it's going to step out of this 10% here in a little bit. Actually, we can just try this once. Change this back to 100, see what it does. I think I'm going to go into the tables now and actually add 5% to the main fuel table. Right in this region. Alright, now we got it idling pretty good at like a 13.5 air fuel ratio, 13.5 to 15, somewhere in there. It kind of bobs back and forth a little bit. I feel like that's just a downfall of batch fire injection or whatever this is. So now what I'm going to try to do is we're going to take it out for a drive and see how it is on the street. So now that I got some of the cruising tuned in pretty close, you can see that the map has quite a bit of jumps in it. So like down here, it goes from like a 66 to an 87. And here it goes from a 72 to a 96. Usually you don't want that drastic of a number jump. So what you can do here is I like to just take pretty much like this whole region here. And you can use a neat feature called interpolate. And what that'll do is it'll pretty much smooth out all these numbers. Just like so. So here we only have a five number increase. Here we only have a 3 number increase, where before we were like jumping up almost 20 numbers. I ended up picking up another Honda Civic. I kind of couldn't pass up the deal. It's I don't even know what year it is. It's an EG 4-door Honda Civic. Has a B18B LS engine, and it is turbocharged. Has a Skunk 2 Pro Series intake manifold, just an eBay turbo kit. I did not build this car, just for an FYI. I bought it exactly how you see it. And this car actually has something funny. It has a cable transmission on a hydro car, which is a super uncommon setup. Not a lot of people run a cable trans on a hydro car. Normally, if anything, people switch a cable car to hydro. So this is kind of backwards. But yeah, I bought it and it didn't run. I pulled it out of a field. Got it out of there, brought it home, and it cranked and cranked and cranked and cranked and no start. Couldn't get it to start, and I looked at the gas gauge, looked at the fuel, or I should say I listened to the fuel pump, and it sounded kind of weak. So I cracked the Schrader valve on the fuel rail and turned the key on, and sure shit, just dribbles came out. So I went to the gas station, got 10 bucks in a gas can, threw it in there, and this thing fired up and it's purring like a kitten. So now all I have to do is figure out why the clutch doesn't work. The clutch isn't working, I believe, because there's actually a bolt down here, this bolt right here, which holds this rod, and it goes into the slave cylinder. There's an adapter bracket down there as well to convert a slave cylinder to push the factory cable bracket to move the clutch back and forth, and that was way out of adjustment, and the bolt was missing, so it was pushing literally just against the lever. There wasn't a bolt actually guiding it anywhere, so I'm fixing that currently, and I believe the slave cylinder is bad because it was messed up and it got rusty, and the slave cylinder got jammed up, so I'm gonna have to get a new slave cylinder for it, and then that should be good to go. What else has this thing got? I don't even know. It's kind of a pile of shit. It's just a beater. As you can see, I pulled it out of a field. There's like grass and hay still in the door there. But yeah, it's got some wheels on it. 4-door Honda Civic. It's got an AEM wideband, which is pretty cool. Mounted over there. Harbor Freight boost gauge. And yeah, 158,000 original miles, I think. I don't know. Who cares? But yeah, here it is, all in its glory. Should be up and ripping by tomorrow, maybe. I'm not sure. So, oh, by the way, check this ECU out. I pulled the ECU out to make sure it was chipped and tuned for the turbo and everything like that, and it is, surprisingly. And it looks like crystal meth or some shit is in the ECU. I think this car sat out in the rain for a while and the floor leaks or something like that. And this ECU is definitely pretty gnarly looking. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's like, I think it's just corrosion from water getting in the computer. But yeah, I'm definitely going to have to clean that out pretty good. and see what's going on with all that. But yeah, pretty excited about this car. I picked it up for $400, so I can't really complain, honestly. My original plan is just to part it out, but I can't just do that. I gotta be able to drive it at least once and see how the car is and all that stuff. So I'm gonna get it running, take it for a little beat run, see if I like it. Maybe I'll keep it, maybe I'll sell it. I don't know, we'll see. But we'll pick up tomorrow when I get some more footage of this thing and get it running. I got some stuff done on the car. I got that new slave cylinder on down there, and now I'm working on the boost piping, because this boost piping is definitely kind of janky, but we'll make it work. It just has regular hose clamps, which kind of sucks, but I'm going to double clamp it here because this is where it blew off, and we're going to grab some hairspray here and we're going to douche this thing. Fail. There we go. There we go. Common problem on turbo Hondas a lot of times when I tune them is guys run auto light spark plugs. Do not do that. Run NGK V-Power BKR7E spark plugs for like a basic 300 to 400 horsepower car. Anything higher than that, you got to go with the 8s. We're out cruising in the Honda, and yeah, this thing drives freaking pretty good. Cruising down the freeway like butter. I'll have to get a clip with a rowdy wastegate out